Now, as we leave the train station, the building on our right is the original zoo building. It was dedicated in the summer of 1929. It is home to our sandcats, servals, orangutans, naked mole rats, and other animals. Trestle 1 marks the beginning of our 1 mile Safari Land adventure. We're now crossing over the mighty Mill Creek. Now, a little later on in our safari, I'll tell you some more about Mill Creek, but right now, the first thing we see on our right is Adventure Woods. Now, Adventure Woods is very popular with the kids and the adults alike. The kids have all this wonderful stuff to play on, and the adults, they have these fabulous chairs to relax in while the kids play. Now, the first pond on our right is home to our black-footed penguins. Now, black-footed penguins are unique. They come from South Africa. Not all penguins come from the cold Arctic region of the world. This building is also home to Tubbs, our North American alligator. Now, let's see what old Tubbs is up to today. Well, there's old Tubbs doing what he does best, and that is watch us go by on the train. Next on our safari, the llamas and the alpacas. The llamas are the larger animals. The alpacas are the smaller ones with the bad paws. And now, everyone, Safari Land Tunnel. As we exit the tunnel on our right, Mystery Mountain. We're now crossing over Trestle 2. We call this the High Trestle. Now, down on our right is our Australian walkabout. Now, it is staffed with helpful zoo staff that can tell you anything you'd like to know about kangaroos and wallabies. It's also a very special part of the zoo. You enter the enclosure. You're behind the ropes. The kangaroos and the wallabies, they get to look at you. Now, as we round the turn and proceed through the gates in front of us, we will be entering Safari Land. Safari Land is a section of the zoo over 5 acres set aside so some of our animals can roam in a more natural setting. You'll also see species of animals that are endangered in this area, like ducks and geese. You never know what you'll find out in Safari Land. And now, everyone, Safari Land. Now, I'm going to explain some of the, I want to talk a little bit about the native species that inhabit Safari Land. Now, every year, this bank over here on our right is home to a lot of groundhogs, and they've made it their personal nursery. They've got burrows and dens dug into this hillside, and they raise their young out here, as do the ducks and the geese. You know, it's real quiet out here in the winter time. Nobody comes out here. The zoo animals are up on the top there, so nobody comes down here and bothers anything. So it's a nice, quiet place to raise the birds. Now, if you are familiar with the zoo and the ponds, then you'll know about the turtles. Now, the turtles are not zoo animals. They just live out in these ponds all by themselves. Now, in the wintertime, they burrow down into the mud and hibernate, and then come back out in the spring to see us. Now, if you look off to your right, up there on the slope, you'll see those 2 smaller animals. Those are mouflon sheep. Now, the mouflon sheep are the smallest member of the wild sheep family. They are native to Europe, very much at home on steep slopes, and both males and females carry horns. Now, they're scattered all along. The sheep are scattered all along the hillside here. We'll get a better look at them when we come through that horseshoe curve. This curve will mark the halfway point of our Safari Land adventure.
Look at the baby turtles down there.
Yeah, they must be out.
Oh, there's another sheep right there. We're walking up the thing. There's another one sitting over there.
Now, an interesting fact about the deer and the sheep, they're the two animals here at the zoo that we do not put inside for the winter. They're hardy enough to stay outside all year long. Of course, we haven't seen the deer because they're up on the flat there. This cooler weather drove them up on the hill. Now directly ahead of the train and up on the ridge is Kaboka outpost. Kaboka outpost is a replica of an African outpost. This is where we house our African species of animals. Our white rhinos, bill and bumper, our zebras, painted dogs, warthogs, and other animals. Now, as we cross back over Trestle 2, you'll notice the structure that the track is built on. This is called the drift catcher. The drift catcher is over 100 years old and was built in response to a major flood which occurs on Mill Creek in the early 1900s. Now, along with the drift catcher, the Mill Creek tube was built. From this point, Mill Creek flows north for approximately 3/4 of a mile above ground. There the water enters the tube. The tube carries the water out of Mill Creek underneath the city of Erie and out into Presque Isle Bay. The tube is 18 feet high, 22 feet wide, and over 12,000 feet long. Now, since the building of the drift catcher and the Mill Creek tube, there has never been another major flood in downtown Erie. Now, you can see how the drift catcher works. During a flood or any high water event along Mill Creek, all the loose material in the creek bed will flow down to this point. The drift catcher will catch it, allow it to build up in front of it. Besides these sides, there's always room at the top to get the water to flow. Without the drift catcher in place, all of this material would be down in the city of Erie storm sewer system. Once again, everyone, Safari Land Tunnel. Now, for all the little ones on the train, let's see if we can't find the Fairy Princess on the right-hand side wall as we go through the tunnel. Fairy Princess, right-hand side wall. As we pass the structure here on our left, you can look into the center of the zoo and see the barnyard and the wildlife carousel. Don't forget to check out the big cats on the upper catwalk, our tiger, leopard, Canadian lynx. Don't forget to visit the Adventure Center with reptiles and amphibians. And before you leave today, make sure you check out the North American river otters and Shiva, the bear cat. Well, here we are back at Trestle 1. This marks the conclusion of our 1 mile Safari Land adventure. On behalf of everyone here at the zoo, I'd like to thank you all for coming out to see us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. One last safety announcement: as the train approaches the platform, please remain seated in your car until the train comes to a complete stop.